Hello everyone. Welcome back to this session of The Gardener where you'll be covering past 10 years question paper from the chapter The Gardener. Before coming to this session, read through the chapter or also you can watch in my YouTube channel under the playlist The Gardener the entire chapter summary in just 11 minutes. After which you can evaluate and assess yourself to this whether your answers are right or you need to go to a more deeper learning. So let's get started. Who was felicitated as the best poet of his times in The Gardener? So this question was asked in July 2024 and the answer for this question is C. Tamanna. Tamanna was, felicitated as the best poet of his times in this chapter. Identify the sequence. So the right answer for this question is B. So firstly, Basavaya gets a Paltian mansion built for himself, after which he appoints people to praise him. He bedecks himself with gold and diamond, but yet still his house looks empty. So in this case, in this chapter, most of the questions which are asked are sequence-based questions that after which story what has happened. So I suggest that for this chapter, you read through the chapter because the questions if are asked are about sequence, you'll be able to answer it. See, for every chapter, the way of approaching it should be different. For few, you might need tagliners. For few, you might need to know pointers. For few important notes. For few synopsis. In the same way, for this chapter, as we've observed, sequence plays an important role. So when you are reading the chapter, keep in mind that you have to know the sequence of the story. Identify the sequence. So Basavaya forcibly acquired Tamanna's land. After he forcibly acquires, then there is a quarrel. And then Tamanna composed ballads and critics analyzing, translating his songs. So also sometimes if you forget the story, you can answer it logically. First, obviously, when the land is acquired and when there's a rivalry that happens between them, there is a quarrel. So to deal with the quarrel, Tamanna is composing songs and criticizing Basavaya in his songs, right? So sometimes if you forget stories, you can also use logical sequence to answer the questions. Basavaya went along with his people and acquired 200 acres of land forcefully. So, in order to equate, as we know in the story, Tamanna had 1,000 acres of land and Basavaya had 800 acres of land. So, to equate it or to get more land than Tamanna, he goes and acquires 200 acres of land forcibly. So for this, don't answer of 1,000 because students usually do mistake in how many acres of land he has. But when Basavaya goes, he's forcibly taking only 200 acres of land. So you have to be careful in this part. Tamanna had dash acres of wetland initially. So the answer for this is 10 acres. The death of Dash made Tamanna forget all his ballads. So the answer for this is A. Basavaya. In whose songs were Basavaya's cruelty and meanness mentioned in the lesson The Gardener? So the answer for this is Tamanna. What had the old man tucked under his arm in the lesson The Gardener? So the answer for this is newspaper. Who hits upon the idea of composing and singing ballads in the Gardener? So Tamanna, he hits upon the idea of composing and singing ballads and mentioning Basavaya's cruelty and meanness in it. Who appointed a number of persons to praise him in the Gardener? Basavaya. Who became lethargic after the old man's arrival in the Gardener? The owner of the land. He becomes lethargic after the old man's arrival. What was the old man well versed in the Gardener? The old man was well versed in agriculture. Who was Tamanna's rival in the Gardener? Basavaya. When did the petty thefts come to an end in The Gardener? After the old man was hired as an employee, the petty thefts came to end. Whom did Tamanna consider as his most important position in The Gardener? His rival, Basavaya, as his most important position because without him, his life had no meaning or purpose. Thank you, everyone. That's it for this session. Meet you all until the next session. Have a good day. Bye bye.